આરતી જો ને આમાં તું મને કરી આપને આને પૂછીને આશકાને. I think I am live already. અહીંયા પંખો મૂકી દે ને બહુ ગરમી થાય મને યાર. એકચ્યુઅલી ઊંધું કરીને જ રાખું ને કે સામેથી રાખું મિરર. આમાં જાનું આશકાને પૂછીને કાં ફેસબુકથી કરી આપો ને મને લાઈવ કેવી રીતે કરવાનું આઈ ડોન્ટ નો.
Right. Yeah, your Facebook be live channel.
Hello everyone, namaskar, namaste, happy Navratri, Jai Ambe. Here I am back again, loving doing all this, talking about Ma, feeling very, very, very blessed. Though I am feeling a little bit sick, I have strep throat, I guess, so I have sore throat. I may or may not continue for the whole hour, maybe. We'll see. But તમને કંઈ જોઈએ છે કે મૂકવા માટે So we'll start with, I don't even know, have people start coming? How do I know, Janu?
Doesn't matter, you start.
I start just. Oh yeah, I think 8 people are here. Nice. Okay, so let's begin. Today we'll talk about, today is Ma Katyayani's day, the 6th roop of Ma. 6th roop of Ma is about warrior. She is a big warrior and very powerful. And she represents the warrior spirit and empowering and very protective. Oh my God. So, and the blockages that are covered by, like, which is the veil on this courage and warrior spirit, is avoiding conflict, people pleasing, and fear of standing up for your own self and your own beliefs. So what does it mean by that? Conflict, avoiding conflict. Avoiding conflict as in, for all these days we figured out how we can reach, that heart chakra, the bhakti spirit, and how we can enlighten ourselves. And yet a lot of times we'll succumb ourselves and give up on, because somebody wants you to do something, so you do it, not standing up for what you truly, truly, truly believe in. What is it? There are texts coming in. My room mic nathi lidu. Is it the mic? Oh, okay. So, can you guys hear me? Guys, I haven't taken my mic today. Do you want me to hook up the mic? So, conflict, yes. And somebody answered already that it means, oh, yes, you hear me. Perfect. So, the problems and everything, right? So, we kind of give in to our beliefs. We don't even stand up for our beliefs. We don't even talk about our beliefs. So, if we have achieved some point of or some light in our lives, we are usually afraid of talking about it because most people, whether they agree, they don't agree, so we give up. So that's the conflict, avoiding conflict, not resiliently standing up for what you truly believe in. And then the other part is that people pleasing, which is kind of connected to this. Nonetheless, let's begin with what Ma has, which we need to embody and how we can embody. So we need to get rid of these traits in us which is not allowing us to mirror exactly what is Ma's spirit, the warrior spirit, right? And protective spirit. What is protective spirit? Again, that comes back to the same thing, people pleasing or something. Protective of what you truly believe in, protective of light energy, protective of the light within. So if you have learned the art of constantly, letting yourself out from that reactive field and going onto the bleachers, like if you have followed me on the other days, that the reactive field is where your thoughts, emotions are just playing off of each other's energy and it's not really coming out from the spirit, the true spirit. So that's what it is, right? So if you have gotten a little bit of understanding, then that's your inner sanctuary. What is that inner sanctuary? That the shield, remember yesterday I was talking about that once your heart has reached a certain frequency, our Ma, she will create this shield. And there is reaction, things happening here, everything is happening here, but it's not affecting you. Why? Because you go in the inner sanctuary. This is your inner sanctuary. You do not allow anybody to mess up that field. That's your inner sanctuary. That's a temple. You take care of it. So like a few days back in the first or second class, we were talking about that we don't let anybody in with dirty shoes, right? If the worker comes at our home to fix something, we tell them wear the booties or don't come in, remove your shoes. So leave your dirt out. Don't bring your dirt into my home. That's what our inner sanctuary. We are actually, the human body itself is the temple. And in that temple where Ma resides, in Garbhagriha. So tomorrow I'll be talking about the Gopuram and the Garbhagriha. But so that Garbhagriha is so clean. We remove, right? When we get into a temple, we remove our shoes. Why do we remove our shoes? Is because we don't want to make our temple dirty. So we leave the dirt out, and that's what we do. We get out of the reactive field, we leave all the dirt out. It's happening, it's affecting, but get back into that inner sanctuary. And once you have built that inner sanctuary, that will actually train your vibrations in such a way that as soon as you step into the inner sanctuary, you will start to feel the calming of your emotions. So initially, when we are practicing in the beginning, we have to first train ourselves and build that inner sanctuary. We still don't have it. But by doing those gratitude practices and different practices, meditation, bhajan, bhakti, whatever you want to, whichever route you choose, by doing that, we are actually building this emotional fortitude. We are building like a fort. Actually, Durga itself means a fort that protects us, right? So, and Durga is in us. That fort is also in us. So first we have to, by raising our frequency constantly, we are building that fort. Once that fort is built, that is a shield in itself. It's such a powerful shield that now, whenever you are distressed, all you have to do is just step into your inner sanctuary. You don't have to do anything else. Just tell yourself, I am in the inner sanctuary I'm in the fort, protected and governed by Ma Durga herself. And literally all your thoughts, all your emotions suddenly going in the big, hyperactive zone, it will suddenly just, it'll disappear from your your area, your vision, your mind, your thoughts, your heart. It does not really disappear. It's there, but it does not affect you anymore because you have built that fort. So please, that's the biggest thing that we can all do for ourselves. I think this age right now, if I'm seeing so many. I was just talking to my husband today, and we were talking about that. So much awareness is going around within, the communities, that there is light energy and that there is, light workers. That's what I feel. My job is to be a light worker. My husband's job is to be a warrior, the spiritual warrior, right? So there are two parts of the spiritual, to akhand, for keeping the spirituality or the light energy whole. We are all given a purpose, and everybody who is watching this or watching certain similar podcasts and trying to upgrade our own knowledge about spirituality so that we can rise to that level, that we can either become that light, a guiding light, and spread light, or at least we are in the becoming of it. We are learning, and more we learn, we rise and become that guiding light, and then we become that light that is so powerful and illuminating, just like 1,000 sun. There is a dakla, and Gujarati, if anybody knows, it says, જ્યારે માવડીનું કંકુ ખરે ને ત્યારે સૂર્યનારાયણ પણ અજવાળા પાથરતા ઉગી નીકળે છે. What does that mean? That means that when Ma even turns her face, the kumkum on her forehead, it's dry kumkum and it falls down just because she turns. And just in that much, millions and millions of suns will, lay down all the rays, the enlightening rays, beneath her foot, and just enlightening the whole world and the whole, our whole being. That's what it means. And why? And in my, like what Ma told me is, why does she turn even in the first place? So there's another dakla that says that Vagya Dwar Ughad Madi Tara Vadha Manare Avya. That means that somebody is knocking at your door and, please open the door for us. So when you are constantly, resiliently, relentlessly, intensely, abundantly, just striving to just keep knocking at your door, that I seek nothing else but you. Just you and only you. That's what I want. Though I am not capable of absorbing a complete divine version of you, but little by little train my heart and train my mind in a way so that I can rise in a way that slowly I get that practice of absorbing little of your light, fraction of a light, and then finally feel that I'm capable of embodying your infinite light that's even more powerful than the million sun rays, right? So when we keep knocking at her door, and then she says that, oh, I can hear a faint voice, somebody's knocking at the door, and she turns, right? That's when that enlightenment happens. So what does this mean? That's why Navratri. Why is Navratri so important? Yes, in the first part of this series, we discussed that it's the beginning of the spring. It is, new birth of our spirit, right? We are letting go of the old identity. We are letting go of the flaws that we have. But more importantly, and this is again, so this is not scriptural, nothing. I am not learning from scriptures, so you may not find something like this. This is my interpretation of the conversations that I have with my mom. And what it is that there is some bhakt, not all of us, but one bhakt somewhere, or maybe many of those, that one single, special bhakt, who has attained that kind of alignment from the root to the sahasrara. No, I'm not just talking about opening the gates of the heart. That's where I am right now. Like I've just kind of, I've gotten Ma to be my Sarthi, right? And I shouldn't say I have gotten Ma to be my Sarthi, but like she has allowed me, her presence, and she's taken control of my life, right? But an aligned bhakt who is so risen, he is probably in the state of samadhi. And he is remembering that, okay, I am done with even samadhi, now I want you, I just want to become one with you. No duality anymore, only union, right? that bhakt and similar such bhakts, when they are remembering her, this is the time when Navratri comes and she comes down to all of us, giving us a little bit of her so we can all ignite that burning desire of her. So eventually we can reach to that level where we are so much aligned that we are tuned in and all we want and all we seek is her and her divinity. That's when Navratri is happening. So we are all blessed, and if you will notice that, right, we do remember Ma, but during these days those spiritual energies within us start to get kind of more fierce and more like we want to do, I'm going to do something about it. And it took me 3 years. I've been thinking of last 3 years that I want to be talking about Ma all day every day. I haven't been, especially like every Navratri I decide that I'm going to be doing it, but I never did it, right? So think it does get very, because it's in the air, right? How we go in the temple and it's in the air, so you feel that connectedness sometimes. A lot of times there are many gossips happening also in the temple, networking and everything. I'm not talking about that. But there are few real true bhakts who are going only for that kind of connection over there, right? And it's collective energy. It makes a big difference. So when I say, and even if you see, why do we touch the temple stairs? We touch the temple stairs that maybe one of that bhakt who has passed by, who has that same spiritual energy that I'm talking about, aligned fully, if I touch that, even the rajkan, the dirt of his foot, then some part will brush off on me, some part of that spirituality will come in me. From that, I'll just jump to another chapter because we are talking about how Ma Katyayani, who is Ma Katyayani and what she represents. And I'll read a little bit of a story. So I have just, taken it from internet. It's a story, but I have kind of decoded, or it's not decoded, maybe many of us may have decoded, but just my interpretation of that story. I'll go with the reading. A demon called Rambha did severe penance to beget a powerful son as a boon from Lord Brahma. So who is Lord Brahma? Right here. So when we took birth the first time ever, we took birth, and so this is Ardhanarishwar. Why I call Ardhanarishwar is because it is Shiv and Shakti both. I always feel, I truly believe that it's Shiv and Shakti both in every part of our lives. It's not just Shiv on the top and then Shakti here and then just climbing up the ladder. I truly believe that it's both, but it's in two different directions, and to come in the union, which we discussed yesterday or day before, and then have to go climb the ladder. So that's Ardhanarishwar, this is Kundalini. When we first took birth, we were given a free will, Ichha Shakti. That's our free will. And then we were given the ability to act upon our choices if we choose to, the free will. And this is also a tool. So the capacity to perform, the capacity to think analytically and how to make it perform, and the desire that arrives, comes in our heart, right? So that's the free will. So this free will is Brahma. Brahma, why do I call Brahma? Because creator. And where does the creation happen? The creation happens in the desire, right? If there is no desire, there is no creation. Then you are one with God already, right? But there is so much desires that we have. Okay? Now, so Rambha did a request and wanted to have a boon, and she asked the Lord Brahma. Rambha's son was Mahishasur. Mahishasur is who? The ego. So once we got, the boon was accepted, we created, the boon was accepted, and then it was born, and that is your ego, your identity, your solar chakra, Manipur chakra. Okay? The Mahishasur was born. Now Mahishasur has taken over the charge, right? Brahma, you created, and It's done. Now this ego is taking charge and it starts to spiral. As it is spiraling, this is starting to go because this is at the end of your, when there is alignment happening. So this, now you are just creating those spirals of life and birth, and now your Kundalini probably says here, and as you are expanding and expanding, your Ardhanarishwar is here maybe, right? Shiva, Shakti. So it's shifted and it's going just, in spirals. What happens then? Now, Mahishasur has the ability to shift. What does that mean? That ego comes in so many different colors, right? Sometimes it will come as victim mindset. Sometimes it will come as a superiority complex. Sometimes it will, and also the shape shifting, I believe, is your Swadhishtan Chakra. Why do I say that? Because the shape shifting is like so in lot of stories they say Rakta Bij is the your desires, because it's never going to be over. The one you finish one desire, the other one comes. You finish the other one and the other one comes. So that's what it is. So shape shifting ability of the ego of the Mahishasur is the Swadhishtan or the desire, or I would say, in that case, you can say Rakta Bij. That now goes to, and why did I say that, it takes shapes and forms? Because then it goes, oh, I have, my family needs this, so I need to do this. My job requires it, so I need to do this. What it is the job may not require. You may be requiring the appreciation from the job or the promotion. The family may not be needing it. It's your need to provide for the family, because that's also a way to boost our own ego, right? So, and it's not boost. It's not wrong. When we say ego, I don't think it is wrong. Ego is not bad. Ego is just an identity and an ego that is who we are identifying ourselves right now with, which is not the truth. We are, really speaking, only this pure free spirit, right? But that pure free spirit is being lost. Correct? Then it brings me to Mahishasur was asking for a boon, that I want nobody to be killing me. I am immortal. Now because, so Brahma did not approve. And again, I'm mistaken here. So this, in my notes, it's the free will, right? The free spirit, it's not the free will. The free spirit is Brahma. Right? But Brahma knew I am the creator, but it's not right to allow it to not be ever, finished or be done, because ego someday will break. Someday it will realize that I am the free spirit and I need to go back to my free spirit. I don't want to be where I am today. So it did not give the boon, and so Mahishasur said that, okay, then it should be only a woman who can kill me. And therefore, Ma Katyayani had to come. Right? Now in that, there was, when he became overpowering, like, because he got the grant that, okay, I won't be killed by anybody except the woman. And in that, he destroyed, so it said that there was nobody to restrain his cruelty as he wreaked havoc in all three worlds, and Indra lost his throne to him. So what is Indra? Indra is our five senses, Indriya, right? So five senses, and that five senses also were kind of, they were a slave, they become a slave to the ego. What is why? Because five senses is everything that we want, that we can taste, why do we want to taste something? That's our Indriya, right? We want to taste because it's going to satisfy the taste of the ego. Ego likes this food. Ego as in identity, us, right? Everything, our body, our mind, our thought processes, our emotions, everything. So all kind of, why do we want to touch? Touch is a pleasure, right? That's how we express our love to our loved ones. So whether it's anything, we like to hear something, we like to hear bhajan, or we like to love music, any kind of music. Why? Because it is giving us pleasure. So all the five senses were lost lost the battle against the ego. Nothing was then thinking in the perspective of the free spirit. Everybody was identifying, everybody as in all the five senses were identifying their existence only in alignment and in union with the identity. So everyone, the five senses started to identifying their needs, ego's needs as their own needs. That's what they are supposed to do. And then this created disharmony. So disharmony between what? And that's why we say it's the guidance system. That this, your soul, it took the free will and it started to spiral. Now it doesn't know how to spiral back in. So it's lost, but it keeps hearing that signal from the spirit, spirit, the divine light, and it's knowing that it's going further and further and further away because it does not know the way back in. So there was disharmony, and disharmony sets in everywhere in the creation. Everywhere in the creation, because this is our whole creation, our body, our identity. So everywhere there is disharmony. Only when we are at peace, we are in harmony, right? But out of 24 hours, okay, maybe when 8 hours we are sleeping, we are in harmony. And that's probably because, we are more aligned in the astral. But even then, right? Even in the sleep, when we are having those dreams and everything, it is actually analyzing everything that happened through the day or everything happened something the other day. So it's basically analyzing. So a lot of energies are not really getting in the restore zone. It's just going in the, figuring out zone. So the harmony, to find harmony, Ma Katyayani had to come. Now, the Devas rushed to the Trinity of Gods, and that's just the story, the story part. And then the furious Devas brought the divine radiance stage from their mouths, and a blazing mountain of flame emanated, which merged into an incandescent, powerful mass of blinding illumination that took the form of a divine woman, pervading all the three realms of existence. So, which three realms of existence? That is our mind, our body, and our soul. So, soul, because it's close to the heart, our spirit, and then body is our root chakra, and then the Gyan Shakti, Kriya Shakti is the body, right? The ability to do what we think we want to do, and the ability to think, obviously. So it took over. What it means is that pervading all the three realms. So she took control of all the three realms, and she is here inside. But it had to have that external, something that comes from external. Then that could be just like Navratri, a season of festivity which is celebrating her presence. And that's why a lot of people might get more passionate about this in those days, right? So she had to come in a external, because we are sensing everything with the five senses. We have forgotten that there is something beyond that. Right, that is the spirit that does not need that five senses to experience anything. It just knows. It has that conviction, right? So she had to come for that, and she took control of mind, body, and soul. And now that brings me to the same thing, like how we were talking about yesterday. That once, if you take even one in alignment. So right now I have been listening a lot about Swar Yoga, calm your nervous system, balance your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Why are they saying that? Do yoga, right? So if any one channel, whether it is your heart, whether it's your body, or whether it's your mind, any one, if that gets entrained, or if it gets in the rhythm or harmony or in sync with the divine, the rest will automatically start to follow, because it will start to clear off the fog that's around us, right? So the Devas rushed to the trinities of God, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Oh, the Tej illuminated, and okay, I read that. The Devi is characterized as an angelic beauty, and then there is further things. I am not reading the whole story. Now, she received her weapons from all the Devas present. A trident from Lord Shiva, the Sudarshan Chakra from Lord Vishnu, and the Kamandalu from the Lord Brahma. So we'll go from, what does that mean? The Kamandalu, right? The Kamandalu is meaning that pure knowledge. if so now that's touching your mind. It's when you start to say, if you are not in the bhakti yoga, and that's fine. You say if you are not in yoga and tuning your nervous system and all, but if you are constantly diving deep in knowledge, pure knowledge, the knowledge that is allowing us to awaken the spirit within us, that kind of pure knowledge has the power. Again, like I said, you can go top down, from mind to body, you can go down to up, you can go from the heart, and I believe, so for me it's been heart. It does not have to be the same for everybody. But so this is the root chakra, this is your sacral, so Adhishtan chakra, this is your Manipur chakra, this is your Anahat chakra, this is the throat, this is the Ajna, and this is the Sahasrara, right? And when you have met these needs, which I was talking about yesterday, once you meet these needs, now your ego is going, this ego, Mahishasur, somehow if there is, the ego is expanding, and somehow it interacts with the heart, right? And if the heart's the true spirit of heart, I'm not talking about the heart that feels the emotions, which are also, trained by the ego, like it has the connection to the ego and the identity. I'm not talking about that heart, but true spirit. So somehow, which mine happened, it connected it through the heart. I don't do yoga. I'm now getting into that. I want to start doing Swar Yoga, or learn at least. And this I do a lot. I look up so much material on Maya, on how you can, rise above your weaknesses, your, ego and all that stuff. So what happens is, if you are operating on any of these levels, the vibrations are only going linear downwards. Okay, if here and here, but again, if you are going only from these chakras, it's different. But if you are training your nervous system, that has the power to go upwards. Okay, this one, the heart goes like that, right? It goes like that. It starts to intermingle. Once it starts to intermingle, or even this, right? This is, this is in union, it starts to go like that. And it starts to connect. Everything starts to connect. And that's why I said that there is one, even if one of your channels, the mind, body and heart, if any one of that, if you are really working on, truly to achieve that calmness or spirituality, or it doesn't have to be spirituality, again, like how I said yesterday, that you will be looking for something else to manifest something else, but it's a byproduct. The spirituality is a byproduct. It's so beautiful how Maya has made it for all of us, so effortless and so easy. She says, you can go hunt for anything. And you want to be manifesting anything, all you have to do is connect 1 and 2 channels, either this, either this, or at least begin with one, and you will start to have the desire automatically to connect the second one, to have more control or more supervision on your thoughts, or on your bhakti, or on your nervous system, whatever. So it's okay for you to go and look for something else, but it's like the treasure you find when you are looking for something else, and that's so beautiful. I was not looking for spirituality. I was looking to manifest money, I was looking to manifest abundance, I was looking to manifest peace and prosperity. Had nothing to do, I had spiritual calling, but it was not as deep as it is for my husband. It would give me peace and harmony, but it was not something that I wanted to do all day, every day. So it's like I was looking for something else, and then it's like a double bonus. I got that, and now I got the spiritual calling, or that taste of the spirituality. And that's also nice, because she gives you a taste. And a lot of you, some of you may have felt it. So one of my friend asked me, she said that I felt so connected, and I felt, she believes in Sai Baba, and she said, I believe, and I have felt his presence, but then after that I have not felt anything. So I say that it's more like a teaser, right? You see a teaser, so then you feel that you want to see the whole movie. But then for that you have to buy the ticket, you have to go spend 3 hours, and then you will go enjoy the 3-hour movie, right? So that's what is important. It's Ma is trying. If she's given you a glimpse, or if Sai Baba or any divine light has divine energy has given you that glimpse, and you felt it, even if you felt it just once, you may feel that, oh, after that it's never happened, because after that you may have not tried. And that is another possibility. You may have tried, but when you try without expecting it to happen, then you are vibrating on the different side of the stick. So here you have experience, and here you have lack of it, absence of it, right? So you experienced it by chance, and now you want it, but you want it so much that, if say this is your center point, you want it so much, but the more you want it, is you are saying that you are away from it. The more you start moving further away from it. But if you let it be, you have to allow, you want it, but then if you know that if not today, tomorrow, I just have to keep doing the right things and trust the process, then little by little, you will start moving on the other side of it and you will experience it. So that's how it is. Like, I have another friend, she reached out to me and she was saying that she goes to the gym, and when in the end they do shavasana, she can literally feel the golden light coming on her, and it's so beautiful, so peaceful, so life-giving. And then she tries to do it in the house and it doesn't happen. And it's the same exact thing it's happening, that because when she does it in the house, she feels, she has a question, she has a doubt, right? That will it happen? Should I try? I am trying, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen. But since she experienced it once in the gym, every time she goes to the gym and she does savasana, every time she gets that feeling. Why? Because now her mind is very easily convinced that it's very effortless, it just happens, it's natural, it's going to happen, right? So it is very important for us to move away from the feeling of lack. If we keep feeling the absence of it, then it's very hard. We are creating that resistance, right? I'll give you something that Abrahamics always says, that what and why, those are the two elements that is going to bring closer to it. Who, how, and when are the ones that are vibrating on the lack. They are creating resistance. How, who, and when. And experience, if you want it, then what and why. So where is your focus? If you are focused on who will bring it, how will it happen, when will it happen, you are going to create resistance. And resistance will just hold you back. It may be so close to you, but it's just holding you back. It's not allowing you to move forward. Whereas what and why slowly will give you the momentum. That momentum will itself generate that kinetic energy, that it starts to create the energy of its own, and then that energy becomes the momentum and the speed. It's like a snowball effect, right? When you start with a small ball of snow rolling from the mountain top, little by little, the more snow is sticking to it. The more snow sticks to it, it gets more and more thicker and bigger, and the mass increases. The mass increases, that's how the speed of the ball also increases. The more speed, the more it sticks, right? That's how you build the momentum. That's how that accumulation of that energy is what's building that momentum and creating that speed and creating that movement, right? And the best way, and I'll give you another example, agarbatti. When you light an incense stick, do you ever expect that as soon as you light, you are going to feel the fragrance in the entire home? You are not. You might smell it when you go in the temple and while it is burning. And even then, right, once it's done burning, you won't smell it. So what's the duty? The duty is to burn it every single day so you can smell it every single day. Another thing is, you will have to let it burn for a while before it starts to spread from the temple to the other room or the exterior part of that room. And then the more you burn, the more places you burn, right? Now your home is being fragrant. So that's how it is. That's how the energy of bhakti or energy of anything is. Whether it's of you want to achieve success, whether you want to achieve bhakti, whether you want to achieve love, no matter what it is, it's the energy that you are building from within. That energy starts to accumulate. The more it accumulates is the more, it starts to throw around that vibrations, that these vibrations are now going more out, more out. It's starting to cover areas and areas. The more it goes out. Now, you do this, there are big Buddhist saints or maybe other saints also. You go in their presence and for miles there is nobody, everything will be at peace, right? What is that? Because they have accumulated so much energy that it spreads to miles and miles of it. Like my husband, he does so much meditation that anybody in my family or even some outsider, when they step in our home, they just feel that calm naturally, right? Because he has built that energy through years. So ideally what I'm trying to say is that you have to build that energy. A lot of times what happens is we start building a little bit and then we start to question, where is it? When is it going to come? Is it even coming or not? Right? So it's very, very important for you to trust that process and keep moving forward. Coming back to that story, so the three realms of mind, body and heart all were conquered by her. And then she received the 3 weapons, the Sudarshan Chakra, the Kamandalu and the Trident, Trishul. So the Kamandalu represents the pure knowledge, again that brings us to the mind. If you are taking in knowledge, if you are consuming good knowledge, pure knowledge, then it has the power of the creative energy. So the creative energy that you have here, you also have here, you can create, right? So the creative energy, that's what the Kamandalu represents. And the purification of the soul. Obviously, if you are getting good knowledge or if you are instilling so much bhakti in your heart, you are getting purified, yeah, right? Even the nervous system, when we say control your sympathetic, agitation and everything and go into parasympathetic, that is also, you are purifying the system, correct? So in either ways, it's purifying pure knowledge that purifies your soul, and it's a creative energy. Then the trident represents the 3 gunas. So the rajas, the tamas and the sattva. So why do we say sattva? Because sattva is good, right? Sattva is pure and rajas is in between, which is so again, like when I say I have started here and I am right now here at the heart energy, right? So what is that? That's a mix of ego and spirituality. So I am, say, in a rajas, right? Rajas is where you have a blend of, you are living your life, and most of us want to be in rajas. We are not yet in the, and some of us may be, in that state of mind where it is, you are reaching also the sattva. But why do we say that the trident conquers the tamas, the rajas and the sattva? Tamas is the needs or the never-ending desires or the, fear, guilt, whatever we were talking about. That's all tamas. Then there is prosperity, happiness, joy, peace, well-being, everything. That is rajas. So it's a mix of sattva and the ego. And then the sattva is pure. But even that needs to go, because the ego is like the onion peel that I talked about the other day, that what is onion? The whole thing is onion, the layers and layers and layers. You keep peeling the layers of onions. What is remaining inside? Nothing, right? So that nothing, that's why it is important to get even the sattva, because sattva is also a part of us. The triguna is a part of the identity, right? All these are the part, because Ardhanarishwar is here, Kundalini is here, everything here is still a part of the identity. In spite of though even this is being created, this has a part of conscious, the spirituality, and it has a part of the subconscious, which is our living of the life, the karmas and everything. So that is why even the sattva needs to be removed. All 3 gunas has to be removed for us to become nothing. When we are nothing is when we are the light, right? Because if any part of us is living, then we are still living. We are still identifying ourselves as me, Maya Joshi, or I have this, I have that, I'm doing the class. So most of us are vibrating at where we may have reached the rajas and the sattva are in alignment, we may have let go of a lot of tamas, not all maybe, not all. I don't say that I don't get upset sometimes. I don't say that I don't get in the spirals of thoughts that's, doubts or something. Oof. So the less and less of tamas and then more and more of sattva will eventually help you rise so that you come to a rajas, right? And then everything will dissolve. So that's why the first or second day I said that we have to go travel this journey from here to here 3 times. First time you are just conquering as the tamas, all your doubts, your insecurities, the ability to speak confidently, the ability to speak your thoughts, your beliefs, right? That is your throat chakra. The ajna is that you are not thinking of yourself so much, overconfident that you don't consider others, and you are not thinking of yourself to be underconfident so that you give away your power. So everything at the first level, everything is the identity level. The second level is at the spirituality level. And that's why I said that, so the first, when we say identity level, is the tamas, that you are getting rid of all your negative thoughts, negative beliefs, negative emotions. And then the second time when you are getting re-purified, because now you know enough, now your knowledge has been purified, your bhakti has been risen, and your energy has been built, or your parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system has been aligned. Now that's your second travel. So now you are trying to let go of the tamas completely. That means there should be zero doubt, there should be zero anger, there should be zero. That still doesn't keep you into sattva, because you still have desires, but when you have a desire, you don't have a doubt that it will fulfill. When you have, you still have anger, but now you don't get angry, you can let go of it immediately, right? You still want to make money, but now that money does not come out of the need of, what will I do without it? If it's coming, it's awesome. If it's not coming, you can see the higher purpose. You can see a better reason in it, or some well-being in it. So we finish it there, that okay, so the 3 guna, rajas, tamas and sattva, that trident, so that's the weapon she can use for that. And then for the Vishnu Sudarshan chakra, right? So what does that do? That cuts through the illusion. Now this is the Sahasra, the Sudarshan chakra can cut through these illusions, right? It will pierce. That's what it starts to happen. When you start to rise your frequency till here, it starts to pierce all the layers that of your karmas and everything that you have built for all these years, all the beliefs that you have built through these years. When it starts to pierce it, so that's the layers, and when it starts to pierce, now once it's pierced, now you can see through this. You can see through. These layers are not obstructing your view of the spirit within, of the divinity within. When you see that, and you keep knocking at the door, what I explained in the first part, right? You keep knocking.